Hello everyone, my name is Jen Romani, and I will be discussing the documentation required for your commercial truck ride today. I'm just going to go ahead and let you know I'm a huge fan of acronyms. It's the only way that I've been able to get through my private, instrument, commercial, and now CFI truck rides. I would be completely lost without them. So highly recommend sticking with those acronyms because they are incredible. So, going back to what we were saying, the documentation required for your checklist can really be broken up into 3 separate parts. First and foremost, you got to make sure that your aircraft has all the required documentation. Whenever you're considering the aircraft airworthiness, obviously you would want to think of the acronym DIE, D-I-E. That stands for Documents for Airworthiness, Inspections for Airworthiness, and Equipment for Airworthiness. Since I'm really going to be focusing more on the documents required, I am going to be kind of glossing over the I and E portion of the DIE acronym. But first and foremost, AERO for documents. Documents for your airworthiness. I'm sure that you've all heard this repeatedly from your private. That's going to stand for the airworthiness certificate, the registration, the radio license, the operating handbook, and of course the weight and balance. Normally I leave the I leave the operation handbook in the aircraft, and when the DPE, yes son, and then when the DPE comes out to the plane, I can show him that we do have a certified operator's manual in the aircraft. The inspections, of course, remember AVIA325. So that's going to be ADs, annuals, the VORs, the 100 hours. I know that's not really an I, but we're going to work with it. The altimeter, the transponder, the ELT, and the static inspections. And then, of course, the E is the equipment for airworthiness. A lot of people go by the GUSACAT, which is a great acronym for private students. But once you start flying a complex aircraft, you've got to remember a few more important equipment pieces. So I like Goose agrees. Goose agrees. He likes GUSACAT, apparently. Yes, son. So I like to go for the equipment for airworthiness, A, tomato flames. There's quite a few different acronyms that you can choose, but A, tomato flames is really basic, and it covers all the important parts: that airspeed, tachometer, oil temp, manifold pressure, altimeter, temp gauge, oil pressure, fuel gauge, landing gear light, anti-collision lights, magnetic compass, ELT, and safety gear. Goose, son, oh my goodness, I am so sorry. He just really wants to be a part of this. It's so exciting. So now that you have the aircraft taken care of, what about the pilot? What kind of documentation does the pilot need? And this is kind of where, again, I needed an acronym. I'm a huge fan of acronyms. I couldn't find one, so I made one. Not sure if you can see it. Pick 'em. It was supposed to be pick me, but I couldn't think of a good E. So I just stuck with pick 'em. This is going to stand for the pilot's license, issued photo ID, currency. You better be current. No going to your truck ride in need of a biennial review. Your knowledge test, all the original knowledge tests with the embossed seal, and of course a current medical certificate. A really good thing to know is you should probably try and make sure all those names and addresses match. During my commercial training, I got married and moved, so my knowledge test had a different name. It was a hot mess, that's for sure. So try and make sure that that's all kind of cohesive. The final section of my documents required for your commercial truck ride. I'm sure you guys all remember this from your private training, but you have to do cross-country planning. And while that may seem kind of redundant and easy. A lot of people are very reliant on GPS nowadays. They don't really use the nav logs and whatnot. So it can be really easy for somebody to kind of forget an important part of it. So I came up with another acronym. I'm just going to go ahead and let you know. I remember things when they're kind of silly. So, fart. So, in regards to your cross country, the documentation required, you're going to need your alternates, you're going to need your weather, you're going to need your fuel requirements for VFR day or night, any ATC delays, runway links, which are really important, and your takeoff and landing distances. All fart. So, there you have it. Those are the 3 main categories that you really have to consider before you go in for your commercial check ride. You just have to make sure that your documentation is all there for both the plane and the pilot, and also your planning, the cross country. I wish you all the best of luck on your cross country or on your commercial check ride, and hopefully I'll see you in the skies.